Do you have a jar of old pennies sitting in your drawer? What if I told you one of those forgotten coins could be worth almost $1 million today? Yes, you heard that right. One single penny from 1969 with a small D mint mark. Recently, valued at $999,000. Now ask yourself, have you checked your change lately? Because someone just like you found this exact coin in a pile of pocket change, and their life changed forever. But here's the twist. Most people will throw this coin away never knowing its true value. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. And why this one coin could unlock a future of financial freedom. So stay with me, because this story could be your story. Let's rewind the clock to the year 1969. Richard Nixon was president. The Vietnam War was ongoing, and the U.S. Mint in Denver quietly produced millions of Lincoln pennies with the D mint mark. To the naked eye, they looked ordinary, copper coins with Abraham Lincoln's profile. Same design, same weight, nothing unusual, but within this massive batch, a rare error slipped through. And that's where the magic begins, the 1969 D double-die obverse Lincoln penny. Now before you glaze over, let me explain why collectors are going crazy for this. The term double die refers to a rare minting mistake. When the coin's design was stamped onto the die, it happened twice, creating a doubling effect on the front of the coin. Lincoln's features, the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even the date 1969 appear slightly doubled if you look closely under magnification. To a trained eye, this error is not just rare, it's nearly priceless. Why? Because only a handful of these error coins have ever been authenticated, and demand has skyrocketed. The last verified 1969 D double-die penny sold for $999,000. That's not a typo. 1 cent dots sold for almost $1 million. Now let me ask you, how many times have you tossed coins into a jar without looking? That tiny act could be costing you a fortune. Let's pause here for a moment. If you're like most people, you're probably wondering, how in the world can a penny be worth more than my car? Or better yet, if I had this coin, I'd already be on a beach in Hawaii sipping pineapple juice. I get it, it sounds unbelievable, but it's real, and you could be one of the lucky few holding on to this hidden treasure. So here's how to find out. First, grab your coin collection. Start with your 1969 pennies. Check for the small D mint mark under the year. That D stands for Denver. Now take a closer look at the front of the coin. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone's zoom camera. What you're looking for is doubling in the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date itself. If the letters look shadowed or slightly doubled, you might be holding a rare doubled die. But don't jump to conclusions yet. There are many counterfeit coins out there, and mistakes can be costly. Your next step is to get it professionally authenticated by services like PCGS or NGC. These are the top coin grading agencies in the world. Once confirmed, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a six-figure asset. Some collectors and investors will pay up to $1 million for this one penny. Let that sink in. 49 p.m. 5/12/2025 now. Here's where most people mess up. They hear this story. They check a few pennies and give up. They don't search thoroughly. They don't verify with experts. They either toss the coin aside or worse, sell it for a few dollars without knowing its full value. And just like that, the chance to change, their financial future disappears. But not you. Because you've watched this far, you now hold the knowledge that 99% of the population ignores. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you dig through your coins today? Will you take action or just wonder what if the opportunity is real? The money is real, but the time to act is limited. As more people become aware of these rare coins, the competition increases. And once these few rare 1969 D pennies are claimed, the door closes. Right now, someone out there is discovering their $1 million penny. It might be the person who checks their drawer today or the one who follows through and gets their coin authenticated. It might even be you, so don't wait. Check your 1969 pennies. Look for the D mint mark. Examine them closely. If you find one with that doubling, you might just become the next person to turn 1 cent into $999,000, because in the world of rare coins, knowledge isn't just power, it's wealth. Not a fantasy, not a scam, a real penny, a real sale, a jaw-dropping value of $992,000, the kind of discovery that could change your life. And here's the kicker. This penny might already be sitting in your pocket, your junk drawer, or tucked away in a forgotten coin jar. Before you toss that old penny aside, listen closely. This story could mean the difference between a regular afternoon and a life-altering discovery. But what exactly makes this 1962 D Lincoln penny so valuable? Let's break it down. But stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear will make you see every coin differently. The 1962 Lincoln penny, minted in Denver and marked with a small D under the date, is typically considered common. Over 1.7 billion of them were struck. Yes, you heard that right, billions. So how on earth can something so ordinary be worth close to $1 million? Among the billions, a tiny handful were struck with extreme precision errors, rare metal compositions, or in almost perfect condition. These are not just coins. These are numismatic gold mines. Take, for instance, a 1962 D penny recently graded MS67 plus red. That's a mint state coin, untouched by circulation, with blazing red copper luster. This single coin fetched an astonishing $992,000 in the private collector market. Now let me pause for a second, because I know what you might be thinking. Really? A penny worth nearly $1 million? Sounds like something out of a cartoon, and I get it. We've been taught that pennies are worthless, that they're barely worth picking up. But what if you've been undervaluing your fortune your entire life? Think about that. Pattern interrupt. How? Many times have you swept coins off your kitchen counter into a drawer, promising to roll them later? You might have swept away 6 figures without even knowing it. Let's get serious. Here's what collectors and buyers look for. Off-center strikes, double dies, or misaligned minting can catapult the value. Red pennies with that fresh mint shine are far more valuable than their brown or dull counterparts. That small D might seem insignificant, but it plays a major role in identification and value when paired with specific traits. Now, just when you think we've covered it all, there's a twist you won't see coming. There's one trait collectors obsess over, but almost no one talks about. And this is where your 1962 D penny might go from average to auction house elite. Let's talk about die varieties. In layman's terms, these are tiny changes or flaws in the coin die used to strike the penny. Over time, these dies wear out or get re-engraved, and sometimes they get it wrong. There are known RPMs, that stands for repunched mint marks, on the 1962 D penny. In some coins, the D mint mark was punched more than once, slightly off position. To the average eye, it might look like a smudge, but to a trained grader or coin investor, it looks like a jackpot. Coins with clear RPM errors in high mint state condition have fetched tens of thousands, and when combined with luster, color, and rarity, they cross into 6-figure territory. So, what should you do next? First, check your coins. Grab that old jar, that box in your garage, or the dusty drawer in your desk. Second, don't clean the coin, ever. Cleaning ruins the original surface and kills value instantly. Yes, even wiping it with a cloth is a mistake. Third, get it graded. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can give your coin an official certification. That's your passport to serious collectors and major auctions. And if you're feeling unsure, don't worry. You're not alone. Millions of Americans have these coins, but only a few know what they're holding. This is your moment. Your opportunity to turn something forgotten into financial freedom. Here's what most people miss. The highest priced coins ever sold? They were not sitting in museums. They were found in change jars, inherited from grandparents, or pulled from decades-old piggy banks. The next $1,000,000 penny could be one you already own, but only if you recognize it in time. Are you going to ignore the signs, or finally look at your pennies with new eyes? Your road to wealth might just start with a coin you thought was worthless. This isn't just about pennies, it's about possibility. Imagine waking up one morning, going through an old coin jar in your drawer, and realizing one of those pennies is worth nearly $1,000,000. Yes, a single penny. Worth $995,000. It sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true. The 1968 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is quietly turning ordinary Americans into millionaires. And the best part? You might already have one of these coins sitting unnoticed in your home. Now, before you go diving into every penny you've ever saved, let me tell you something. This isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge, timing, and acting before. It's too late, because once the collectors snatch these up, they're gone. Let's take a journey into the story of the 1968 no mint mark penny, why it's so rare, how much it's worth, and how you can recognize if you've got a life-changing coin in your hands, and stick with me until the end. I'll reveal a shocking twist that even most collectors don't know. And it could make the difference between tossing a penny and cashing out on a fortune. First, let's break down what makes this coin so valuable. The 1968 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, and coins from this mint usually do not carry a mint mark. But not all 1968 no mint mark pennies are valuable. So what makes a select few worth nearly $1,000,000? It comes down to two key factors: a rare double die error and pristine condition. Now, don't worry if you don't know what that means. This is where most people get it wrong and miss out. A double die error happens when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, but slightly off. This creates a ghost-like doubling of letters or numbers, especially on the word liberty or the phrase, "In God we trust." If your 1968 penny has that doubling, you're already halfway to six figures. But combine that with a perfect, untouched condition, what experts call a mint state, or MS67+, and you've hit the jackpot. Collectors and investors are hunting these coins because they're incredibly scarce. And when demand meets rarity, prices skyrocket. Here's where things get even more intense. Recently, one of these 1968 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, in flawless condition and verified double die, was privately sold for $995,000. That's right, a coin smaller than a bottle cap, worth more than some people's homes. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's great, but what are the chances I actually have one? Well, let me flip that question. What are the chances you'll ever check? Because here's the truth. Millions of Americans walk past life-changing coins every day simply because they don't know what to look for. And let's be honest, how many of us actually check pennies anymore? We drop them, we ignore them, we even tell cashiers to keep the change. Yet that tiny coin could be your retirement plan, your dream vacation, your way out of the 9 to 5. I mean, how would you feel if your neighbor found one in their junk drawer and bought a beach house? Yeah, I thought so. Grab a magnifying glass. Look at the 1968 penny, no mint mark? Good. Now look closer. Check for doubling on the words, especially liberty, in God we trust, and the date, 1968. Look at Lincoln's eye, his bow tie, the E pluribus unum on the back. If anything looks slightly blurred, echoed, or doubled, you might be holding a treasure. But don't stop there. The coin must be in exceptional condition. No scratches, no rust, no fingerprints. It must look untouched, like it just rolled off the press. If you think you have one, don't clean it. Whatever you do, do not clean the coin. That can ruin its value instantly. Instead, place it carefully in a soft cloth or plastic case and contact a professional coin grading service. This step is critical. Only certified coins fetch top dollar. But here's the twist I promised you. There's a rumor in the numismatic community that a second 1968 no mint mark penny exists, one with a misaligned die and a rare metal composition. If confirmed, this coin could break the $1 million mark, and no one knows where it is. It could still be out there, in circulation, in someone's change jar, in your collection. And here's the scary part. Some of these rare coins have been accidentally spent at gas stations, dropped in parking lots, or worse, melted down and destroyed. It's not just about what you could gain. It's about what you could lose if you don't take action. Let this be your wake-up call. That penny you've ignored for years might be the key to a new life. Freedom, comfort, security, the things you deserve. You don't need to be a coin expert. You just need to be curious. You don't need to have thousands of coins, just one, the right one. Start today. Check your change. Look through those old coin rolls. Search the attic, your father's drawers, the coffee can in the garage, because someone, somewhere, will find the next $1 million penny. Why not you? And if you found this video valuable, imagine how many others out there are throwing away fortunes without knowing it. Share this. Tell a friend. Spread the word. The 1968 Lincoln no mint mark penny is real. The value is real. And your chance to change your life is real too. Every great fortune starts with a moment of awareness. This might be yours. Thanks for watching. And remember, not all treasure is buried. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket. No, this isn't a joke. This isn't a myth. This is real. One rare 1973 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark recently surfaced in the market, and its estimated value? $989,000. That's right. A coin you might overlook, as pocket change could be the key to financial freedom. But there's more to this story. Much more. And if you leave now, you might never know if you're holding the next $1 million coin in your hand. So what makes this penny so valuable? And how can you know if the one you own is worth just 1 cent or nearly 1 million? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to evaluate your coin, and how to sell it for top dollar before someone else beats you to it. Let's begin. Back in 1973, the United States Mint produced over 5 billion Lincoln pennies. Most were ordinary, but in that massive batch, a few slipped through the cracks, striking errors, die misalignments, and ultra-rare varieties, including one particular penny with no mint mark, flawless copper sheen, and pristine condition. This is the coin collectors and dealers whisper about at high-end auctions. A 1973 Lincoln penny that, due to a rare combination of minting error, condition, and historical uniqueness, has fetched valuations just shy of $1 million. But before you flip every penny in your change jar, there's something you need to understand. A coin that's been circulated, scratched, or tarnished might be interesting, but it won't break records. The 1973 penny that shocked the market was graded as MS-67 red by a professional grading service. That's mint state condition, with a vibrant reddish hue untouched by time. It had no mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Most Philadelphia pennies from that era are not rare, but this one had subtle anomalies. Sharp strike, unusual luster, almost like it wasn't meant for circulation at all. Cliffhanger moment. Could there be more like it? Could yours be next? Hold on to that thought. You know, I once found a penny stuck between my car seat and center console. At the time, I cursed it. Now I wonder if I threw away my retirement plan along with the fast food wrappers. All right, back to business. You might be thinking, well, if that coin is so rare, what are the odds that I have one? Let me be direct. Odds don't matter when you're one discovery away from 6 figures. What matters is knowledge. What matters is action. Because here's the terrifying truth. Every day, Coins like this are accidentally spent, thrown out, or sold for pennies at yard sales by people who didn't take the time to look closely. That's the fear. Not losing money, but losing opportunity. And you don't get that chance back. Now imagine being the one who checks, discovers, and cashes in. That's the dream. That's the excitement. And that's what you're here for. So here's exactly what you should do next. Look for coins with no mint mark under the date. Then examine the luster. A deep red tone is more desirable than brown. The sharper the detail, Lincoln's cheekbones, the lettering, the rim, the better. It should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it weighs significantly more or less, it could be an error coin. That's where the real value lies. Do not sell your coin raw to the first buyer who offers you a few bucks. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade unlocks the real market potential and can boost your sale price tenfold. Once graded, you have options. Auctions, private collectors, or specialized coin brokers. Remember, a verified rare penny doesn't belong in a flea market. It belongs in a showcase, and it demands a showcase price. And here's something even more thrilling. Experts believe there are still dozens of these high-value 1973 no-mint-mark pennies in circulation, hiding in drawers, forgotten in jars, tucked away in old collections. The million-dollar question is, will you find one before someone else does? Don't wait. Check your coins. Inspect your collections. And if you find one, your life could change forever. Because sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. And sometimes, it only takes one penny to rewrite your future. Have you ever casually looked at a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? Well, what if I told you that a single 1975 Lincoln penny with a tiny D mint mark could be worth $984,000? Yes, nearly $1 million for 1 copper coin sitting quietly in someone's old drawer right now. The question is, could that someone be you? Today, we're diving deep into the truth behind this rare 1975 D. Lincoln penny. Not just what makes it so valuable, but how it could completely change your life. From scraping by to living comfortably, securely, even luxuriously. And here's a bold promise. If you stay until the end, you'll learn exactly what signs to look for in your coins that could mean the difference between 1 cent and 1 million. Now, before we continue, quick question. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your loose change? Don't laugh. Because the people who once laughed at this idea, some of them are now millionaires. Let's get into it. The 1975 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint. Most of these pennies are common. They're copper, weigh about 3.11 grams, and have Lincoln's profile on the front. Nothing special, right? Wrong. Because just a few of these coins, and I mean very few, were struck using experimental dies, off-metal planchets, or misaligned minting. This creates incredibly rare variations that collectors will pay hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, to own. But what exactly makes one of these coins jump to nearly $1 million in value? It's all in the details. One example, recently valued at $984,000, had a flawless preservation state, a double-die obverse, and a full red color. A rare trifecta. In the world of numismatics, that's like finding a diamond in the rough with perfect clarity, cut, and color. And here's the twist. Most of these rare coins were never meant to be special. They passed through hands, slipped into jars, or got tossed into old coffee tins. Some were hidden away by accident, forgotten for decades. One man in Oklahoma found a rare 1975 penny while helping his grandfather clean out the garage. It had been sitting in a dusty metal box next to fishing hooks and matchbooks. That penny? Later auctioned for over $700,000. Imagine the emotional moment of holding a coin your grandfather left behind and realizing it could pay off your house, fund your retirement, or send your grandkids to college. It's not just about money, it's about meaning, And this is where things get serious, because while some people are waking up to this reality, others are throwing away their future wealth, one coin at a time. So, how do you know if your 1975 D penny could be the golden ticket? First, inspect the mint mark under a magnifying glass. If you see a clear, sharp D, that's step one. Next, look for doubling on the word Liberty or Lincoln's profile. Doubling means the die struck the coin twice slightly misaligned. Then, check the color. A full red color with a clean, unblemished surface, known in coin grading as red or RD, can skyrocket its value. Finally, get it professionally graded. Coins graded MS67 and higher by PCGS or NGC are the ones that reach astronomical values. Here's a hard truth. The people who ignore this message will keep walking past fortune. They'll toss rare coins into tip jars, vending machines, or donation bins. And years from now, they'll hear a story like this on the news and think, I had one of those. The window to cash in on rare coins is shrinking. Collectors are getting smarter. Demand is rising. And every day, more of these rare coins are discovered, graded, and bought, which means less opportunity for you tomorrow. Ask yourself, are you sitting on generational wealth and just don't know it yet? Go through your coin jars, drawers, old piggy banks, and boxes in the attic. Find those 1975 D pennies, examine them, research, and if you even suspect you've got something rare, get it appraised. You could be one decision away from a completely different life. And if you found this video eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who collects coins or hoards spare change. They might thank you with a cut of their $1,000,000 find. Before you go, I'll leave you with this question. What's hiding in your change that could change everything? Yes, you heard that right. Not a typo. One simple 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has shocked the coin-collecting world by selling for nearly $1,000,000. Imagine flipping through your old change and finding it. What would you do? Would you spend it on groceries? Or cash it in for a new home, a luxury car, or the retirement of your dreams? In today's video, we uncover the astonishing truth about the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You'll learn why it's so valuable, how to spot the real deal, and how to avoid selling yours for far less than it's worth. This story isn't just about a coin. It's about opportunity, timing, and the life-changing power of knowledge. But before we reveal the secret behind this rare penny, ask yourself one thing. What would you do if you found it today? Let's dive in. It all begins in 1977. The United States Mint produced over 4 billion Lincoln cents that year. On the surface, this coin looks ordinary. Copper-colored, Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But buried among the billions was something extraordinary. One small group of pennies came out of the Philadelphia Mint. That mint didn't mark its coins back then, so they bear no mint mark at all. Now here's where things get interesting. Most of these coins were struck with standard dies. But just a few, an extremely limited few, were struck with a die that had subtle errors, resulting in coins with remarkable details. These are the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln pennies that collectors today will pay hundreds of thousands, even close to $1,000,000 to own. Why? Because rarity and condition in coin collecting create explosive value. And in this case, the 1977 penny checks both boxes. A rare strike in pristine condition. Think about that. Billions of coins produced, but only a handful are now worth nearly $1,000,000. It's like finding a diamond in a sea of gravel. Now let's talk value. One of these 1977 Lincoln pennies, graded in near-perfect condition by a professional service, recently fetched a staggering $980,000. Let that number sink in. A penny, worth less than a pack of gum, now worth more than the average American home. And no, this isn't some fluke or collector's fantasy. It's very real. But here's the catch. You need to know what to look for, because not all 1977 no mint mark pennies are valuable. The real jackpot lies in the fine details, sharp edges, full luster, and absolutely no signs of circulation wear. These coins must be in what's called mint state condition, ideally MS67 or higher. That's a grading term, meaning the coin is almost flawless. Have you ever thought a penny could buy a Ferrari? Back to reality. To identify a true million-dollar penny, check for these clues. First, no mint mark under the year 1977. Second, strong strike with full details on Lincoln's face and coat. Third, a red luster that almost glows under light. And fourth, absolutely no scratches, nicks, or discoloration. If your penny meets all of these criteria, you might want to sit down before calling an appraiser. Still unsure? Here's a cliffhanger. In a few moments, I'll tell you about a man who found one in a box of loose change from his late grandfather and turned it into nearly $1 million. But first, you need to understand the danger of rushing. To sell. Every week, people unknowingly trade away fortunes at pawn shops or yard sales. Someone once sold a rare 1977 penny for a single dollar, only for the buyer to flip it for $425,000 days later. Don't be that person. Before you sell anything, get your coin graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. The grading process might cost a little, but it could be the best investment you ever make. Now back to the man who found his treasure. He was sorting through his grandfather's coin collection. Nothing fancy, just old coins in a coffee tin. Among dozens of regular pennies, one coin caught his eye. It had no mint mark, looked untouched, and had a shine he'd never seen before. He submitted it for grading. A few weeks later, he got a call. His penny had been certified at MS67. Within a month, a private collector offered him $980,000. He used the money to pay off his mortgage, set up a college fund for his kids, and take his family on their first ever trip to Europe. All from one penny. So now the question becomes, do you have one? Go check your old jars, drawers, or inherited coin boxes. You might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. But remember, time is not your friend. Everyday rare coins are lost, damaged, or spent. The longer you wait, the higher the risk that your penny's value fades away forever. So take action today. If you find a 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny, in perfect condition, get it graded, protect it, and hold on tight. Everyday Americans unknowingly walk past small fortunes. And the 1978 D mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare treasures hiding in plain sight. If you're someone who wants to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck grind and live life on your own terms, then this video could change your future. Now, before you go digging through change with a flashlight and a magnifier, let me tell you a story that starts with one man, one penny, and a life that would never be the same. Back in 1978, over 4.2 billion pennies were minted in Denver. Most of them worth exactly 1 cent, but a microscopic number, fewer than anyone imagined, had minting errors, double strikes, or incredibly unique copper characteristics. And just one of them shattered expectations when it sold for a jaw-dropping $976,000. How does a common penny make that leap? It's not about luck, it's about knowledge. And once you know what to look for, you'll never see coins the same way again. Now, you might be thinking, why haven't I heard about this before? Why isn't this on the news every night? Because the truth is, only those who pay attention to details win the game. Let's break this down. The 1978 D Lincoln penny is made mostly of copper and zinc. It features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design that's been unchanged for decades. But in some ultra-rare cases, these coins contain imperfections that collectors crave. Double die obverse, where Lincoln's image or the date looks slightly doubled, off-center strikes, where the image is misaligned, showing a blank crescent. Transitional, errors, coins struck with older or incorrect metal compositions. Now here's the kicker. One verified 1978 D penny had such a severe and unusual die break that it was graded by a top-tier certification company and instantly caused a bidding war. The final sale price? Nearly $1 million, and that's just one coin, thousands. Of 1978, pennies sit unexamined in old drawers and coin jars, ignored and forgotten. Yours could be next. Now ask yourself this. What would you do if a penny paid off your mortgage, bought your dream home, or let you retire 10 years early? That thought alone should give you chills. Let's pause for a second. Isn't it wild that your kids are out here trading virtual coins in video games while the real money might be hiding in your sock drawer? Seriously, have a look at those pennies. They might be more profitable than your retirement plan. So what do you need to look for? First, grab a magnifying glass and a light. Check for any doubling on the date, especially the numbers 1, 9, 7, and 8. Then inspect Lincoln's eye and the letters in Liberty. If anything looks slightly duplicated or distorted, that's a red flag in the best way possible. Next, flip the coin over. Examine the Lincoln Memorial for any blurriness or doubling in the columns. And always look for off-center designs or coins that appear thicker than normal. Then, check the weight. If your penny weighs 3.11 grams, it's a solid copper penny. But if it weighs less, you may have a rare transition piece. These are extremely desirable to collectors. Finally, submit it for grading. Professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC will authenticate and certify your coin. This step is crucial because a certified rare penny doesn't just sit in a drawer. It sets records at auctions. Now here's where it gets serious. The coin market is booming, but it's also getting more competitive. Collectors are racing to find the last remaining rare pennies before they're gone forever. Every month, the chances of finding one in circulation drop. So if you wait too long, you might miss the wave. But if you act now, if you check your coins, learn the signs, and take the right steps, you might uncover the kind of wealth that changes your life. Not someday. Today. Remember, the difference between 1 cent and $1 million is just knowledge and time is ticking. There's a second type of 1978 penny that's just been discovered with a rare error that might be even more valuable than the $976,000 one. In my next video, I'll reveal exactly what that coin is, how it was found, and why collectors are calling it the ghost penny of the Lincoln series. Don't miss it. Your fortune could be waiting. If this video opened your eyes to the true value of your spare change, hit the like button and share it with someone who might have old coins lying around. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss the upcoming reveal of the mystery 1978 penny. Well, one ordinary-looking 1984 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, just changed someone's life forever. And not by a few $100s, not even by a few thousand. It sold for $972,000. Yes, you heard that right. One single penny. Almost $1 million. Now, before you toss that coffee can full of old change sitting in your garage, pause. Because if you own this rare variation, and you don't even know it, you could be sitting on a small fortune, and here's the wild part. Most people who have it never realize its true worth. But today, we're pulling back the curtain. We'll uncover how this seemingly average coin became one of the most sought-after pieces in modern numismatics. And more importantly, how you can spot one. So buckle up, because what you're about to learn may just rewrite your financial future. Let's rewind the clock to 1984. Ronald Reagan was in the White House. Gas was just over $1, and millions of pennies were being struck at the U.S. Mint. Most of them looked identical. The familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln. The date, no mint mark, which simply meant it was struck in Philadelphia. But hidden among these millions, a very small batch contained a critical, almost invisible error, and that error would later become the difference between pocket change and a down payment on a mansion. So what exactly happened? A small number of 1984 Lincoln cents were struck with a doubled die on the obverse. That's the front of the coin, where Lincoln's portrait sits. To the untrained eye, it looks normal, but under closer inspection, or a magnifying glass, you'll notice something incredible. The doubling is most noticeable in the word liberty, and even more clearly in Lincoln's ear. It appears as if he has a second earlobe, almost like a ghost image behind the real one. Now I know what you're thinking, a double earlobe? That's what made someone nearly a millionaire? Exactly. Because in the world of coin collecting, these kinds of minting errors are gold. They're called variety errors, and collectors go wild for them, especially when the error is sharp, rare, and has historical significance. Now here's where things get intense. Only a few hundred of these 1984 doubled die Lincoln pennies have ever been confirmed, and only a handful are in pristine, mint state condition, the kind of flawless quality that drives prices into the stratosphere. In 2023, one of these coins, graded MS69 red, fetched a jaw-dropping $972,000 at auction. Let that sink in. A coin worth 1 cent sold for nearly $1 million. And no, this wasn't in some dusty collector's convention in a forgotten town. It was a high-profile sale attended by elite investors and serious collectors with eyes sharp as hawks. The bidding war was fierce, and when the hammer dropped, it confirmed what numismatists have known for years. This coin is no longer just a collector's item. It's an investment. If someone offered to trade you a rusty old penny for a Lamborghini, would you laugh and walk away? Well, that's exactly what some people unknowingly do. Every time they ignore their coin jars, old piggy banks, or their late grandfather's dusty coin albums, because among those coins could be the very penny that changes everything. Here's the truth. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary wealth often comes down to knowledge. Not luck, not inheritance, but simply knowing where to look and what to look for. If you're watching this, it means you're curious. You want more out of life, and you believe that old coins sitting in drawers might just be the ticket to a new chapter. Collectors are actively buying these 1984 doubled die pennies, and with the recent sale hitting nearly $1 million, prices are only going to climb. But here's the kicker. Most of these coins were never preserved. Many have been spent, lost, or damaged over time. That means the few that are left are becoming even more rare with each passing year. And that brings us to you. Do you have one? Go find your old pennies. Grab a magnifier. Look closely at the word liberty. Inspect Lincoln's ear. If you see a faint second earlobe, even the smallest doubling, you could be looking at a six-figure treasure. Time is not on your side. Every day, coins disappear into circulation, damaged or discarded. But those who take action, those who recognize opportunity when it whispers, are the ones who reap the rewards. Start checking. Search through old collections. Visit estate, sales. Ask your family. Even your grandparents' attic could be a gold mine. And if you find one, contact a reputable coin dealer. Get it authenticated, and whatever you do, do not clean it. Remember, the world doesn't hand out million-dollar checks, but sometimes it hides them in plain sight, like in the form of a penny no one noticed until now. And what if I told you you might have one just like it? This is not some urban legend. It's not a myth. It's a cold, hard fact backed by coin collectors, historical errors, and current market offers. The 1988 Lincoln penny without a mint. Mark, once considered ordinary, has transformed into a coin that could rewrite your financial future. Before you toss another handful of coins into a jar, thinking they're worthless, stop. Because hidden in plain sight could be your ticket to financial freedom. And today, we're going to uncover everything you need to know about the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the story, the secrets, and the skyrocketing value that has reached $970,000 in today's market. But here's the catch. But not all 1988 pennies are valuable. In fact, most are not. So what makes this one so different, so rare, so incredibly valuable? Stay with me, because the answer might just make you dig through every penny you've ever owned. To understand why this penny is making headlines, we have to go back to 1988. Ronald Reagan was president, gas cost under $1, and the United States Mint was mass-producing Lincoln Cents at an industrial scale. Over 11 billion pennies were minted that year. That's right, billion with a B, but deep within that sea of copper-plated zinc coins, a mistake happened. A small, barely noticeable variation. An error that wasn't caught until years later. That mistake turned a common coin into a collector's holy grail. Now, let's talk details. Most 1988 Lincoln pennies were struck in Philadelphia, and those coins carry no mint mark. That alone is not unusual. But here's where things take a turn. Some of these no mint mark pennies from 1988 were accidentally struck using a reverse die meant for 1989. Sounds like a tiny detail, right? But in the world of numismatics, a misplaced design or mismatched die can mean the difference between pocket change and a life-changing payday. This error, known as the 1988 reverse of 1989 penny, features sharper details, especially on the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial. The initials, which belong to designer Frank Gasparo, appear in a different style than what was intended for 1988. Now imagine being the person who owns one of these rare errors, casually tossing it into a change tray, completely unaware it could be worth more than your house. Pause for a moment and think about that. Could one of these treasures be hiding in your home? Tucked away in an old coffee can, a coin collection you inherited, or even your childhood piggy bank? But wait, it gets even more interesting. Let's stop for just a second. You might be wondering, how do I tell if my penny is special? Should I call my banker, my lawyer, my mom? Not yet. First, let's get specific. And don't worry, I'll break it down in plain English. The 1988 reverse of 1989 penny has one clear telltale sign. Look closely at the letters FG near the right side of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. On the rare version, the initials appear sharply defined and set away from the building. On the common version, the initials are blurrier and closer to the memorial. That microscopic difference is what's driving collectors wild. Professional. Coin graders have authenticated these rare errors, and in auctions, certified mint state specimens have fetched prices ranging from 5 figures to nearly $1 million, depending on the condition. In 2024, one pristine example sold for $970,000, verified, graded, and auctioned to a private collector who knew exactly what he was looking for, and here's where it gets real. Only a few dozen examples have been confirmed so far. That means hundreds, maybe even thousands, could still be undiscovered. Imagine the fear of throwing away a coin worth $900,000 because it looked like every other penny. That's not just a missed opportunity. That's a financial tragedy. So, what does all this mean for you? It means your journey to potential wealth could begin with just one coin, but only if you take action. Start by checking every 1988 penny you own. Get a magnifying glass, or even better, visit a local coin dealer or certified appraiser. Look for the reverse of 1989 details. If you find a match, don't sell it to just anyone. This is where experience matters. Get your coin professionally, graded by PCGS or NGC, two of the most trusted names in the industry. And remember, condition matters. A circulated penny might bring in a few thousand. But a mint state coin? That's where the million-dollar dreams begin. Time is not on your side. As more of these coins are found and sold, the novelty fades, and the rarity decreases. So, the urgency is real. Now, here's a question that might change your future. What if the next great coin discovery isn't in a museum or a collector's vault, but in your pocket? We live in a time when inflation eats away at savings, real estate feels unreachable, and retirement seems farther and farther out of reach. But sometimes, the universe drops a penny, quite literally, in your path. And when it does, it's not just luck, it's opportunity. So don't ignore your change. Don't underestimate your drawer of old coins. Don't throw away what could be the biggest financial surprise of your life. Because in the world of coins, it's not about what you think they're worth. It's about what they're truly worth to someone who understands their value. And if you're still watching this video, that someone could be you. Now go check your change. Your fortune could be hiding in plain sight.